So there was a rumor. Can I talk about this? Yes or no? You can shut it down.
A rumor about what?
A rumor that you left the Breakfast Club because Caesar got you for like $500,000.
No, that definitely did not happen.
You should.
1,000%. We've never done no business together, period. And so I saw that too. I saw that went viral. I left the Breakfast Club because I got my own show. And so for me...
You didn't like being with the guys no more?
I think anybody would want to branch off and have like a show with their name on it. So if any one of us would have had that opportunity, I would understand branching off to do it. And so to be able to have my own syndicated show and not have to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning anymore, now I wake up at 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole quality of life change for me. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just really excited to be in that. There was no way I would be like, no, I don't want my own show. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think anybody would say, no, I don't want it. And so, I was excited. And when I met with Thea, my boss, she wanted to tell me in person because I've been asking for the show for years. I was like, I want my own show. I thought it would be at night. And so when she came to me and said, actually, we're giving you nationally syndicated, I'm on in 44 markets, Monday through Friday from 10 to 2. Wow. And so that's a huge...
Oh, man. Black girl magic. Come on, man. Black in here, man.
That's a huge situation for me to be in. And it's not easy. There's people in different markets that may not necessarily have wanted to welcome that. There's people that have been really supportive, and I can tell, by the work that gets put in when people are supportive and when people aren't. It's not an easy situation, but it's a great one to be in. And so for me, I love a challenge. I like the fact that I was on the Breakfast Club for 12 years. Wow. And even when I first went there, I came from having my own show for like 5 years.
Right.
To knowing that at some point I would go back to having my own show. I always knew I would. And so I'm just grateful that it finally happened. And so no, it had nothing to do with a quote real estate deal gone bad. That I promise you never ever happened, because if it did, I would talk about it.
Okay.
You
hear about it. How was it? 12 years on the Breakfast Club. What were your best and worst moments?
The best moments, so many. I mean, honestly, like getting into the Radio Hall of Fame, that was something I didn't anticipate, and that happened during the pandemic. So that was a big deal. Even things like being in the Source, hey Mac, and just being on that list, of the top personalities and being number 1 on that list. Things like that are a huge deal.
The Power 30.
Yeah, the Power 30 list. Yes, thank you.
Reading that in jail. I remember seeing it in the Source.
We were on the cover.
You're both welcome.
Yeah. For us to be on the cover, we were on the cover of that issue. That was huge for me. And so, those are moments I could never, ever take away from. Just even getting on Revolt and having that opportunity and having our show every single day on Revolt. Just seeing how our show grew from the very beginning. The Ray J moments, where he first called in and it was very controversial, but that really helped solidify our show.
Right.
Ray
J moment.
Indoor pool, outdoor pool,
I let him drop my
He
top.
actually inducted us into the Radio Hall of Fame. That's how important that moment was. Yes, he did. Wow. Just because our show at first was not, it takes a while for things to catch on.
Right.
And so even having a nationally syndicated, our show wasn't nationally syndicated. That was a big deal for us too. Mm-hmm. When we first found out, we got syndicated on the weekends first, and then we got syndicated daily. And that was a huge deal. Milwaukee was our first market. And I remember how huge that was for us. And so, those are some great moments. And then, clearly we had some times that weren't that great.
Right.
And so.
Was you scared when Birdman came in the studio?
I was just confused because, to be honest, like when Birdman came up there, he and I had spoken several times. I was managing J Electronica. Mm-hmm. And so he wanted to sign J Electronica. And so we had spoken. So I was like, we know each other. Why? I'd never said nothing sideways about him, and he wanted to come on the show. Right. And so I think we felt the energy when he was in the waiting area. I don't think that was necessarily about me or envy, but he had some issues with things that were said on the show. Mm-hmm. And so he said that he just got angrier than he thought he would when it started. And I know everybody has made amends since then. Right. But I don't know that I was scared more than like surprised, like what just happened? Right. Didn't think we were in danger.
Did you feel like you were a hostage to Charlamagne's antics sometimes?
I feel like when you're on a show with people, if one person says it, people look at it like all of you said it. Even if you don't agree. And I'm sure like anybody that's on a show that has a cast will feel like what one person does affects everybody.
Right. But being in media, sometimes you're sitting there and some shit gets said and you're like, oh shit.
And you can say I don't agree, but people don't hear that.
But technically, are you supposed to say that you don't agree, or are you supposed to sit back and see how it plays out?
If you don't agree, you should not agree. Like, that's just what it is. I think that's the point. If we all agree, right, that's not interesting. And that's not people being individuals. And I think even for me, in the position that I am, a lot of times I might have a different point of view.
Right.
And that's happened throughout the show. And people have attacked me for it. Oh, she's whack. She disagrees with them. She's a party pooper. And she's not.
Really?
All the time.
Who tells you that?
All the like on social media, people would say that.
Section.
Yeah, they'll definitely say that. Oh,
you sure it's not your co-workers just
I don't know who it is.
Streaming farms and shit.
You know, so that part does make it hard. That's why it is nice to be able to be like, I'm doing what I want to do. And I can, when your name is on something, I think it's easier to take responsibility for what's said because it is your name on it.
Right.
Because you can also be like, you know, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. Or I don't agree with that. I could shut it down. But when it's a collective, you don't have as much say. And so sometimes you do end up, and that goes for all of us, like taking the responsibility for what someone else said.
Right. So things get messy sometimes.
Yeah, there definitely have been people who have approached me and had an issue. And I'm like, I'm not the one who said that. I don't even agree with that. So, you know, that has happened.
What about the Gucci Mane situation?
I mean, listen, he said me and Melissa Ford interviewed him and such happened. Melissa's like, I never met him. That never happened. You know, so to me, it was like, I don't know what his purpose was in that. I've heard different reasons for why he may have done that. But, you know, it is what it is. Like, he did what he did. And I thought it was super disrespectful. It wasn't true. But if people, and that's another thing, like when we talk about, I could say, you know, the whole explanation of everything. And it doesn't matter. People will think what they want to think. They'll be like, why is she explaining this? Oh,
I ain't gonna front. I was sitting there like, nah, she did that shit. I don't know why. I don't know
yeah.
why.
But like I said, I'm glad he didn't say, you know, I hit him up or that something happened. I'd rather he say it didn't. And at least that happened. But he said me and Melissa interviewed him. Melissa's like, I've never met this man in my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the facts are that didn't happen, but you believe this happened. Even though...
Well, the first initial interview with y'all was kind of raunchy. It was...
Yeah, but you haven't seen the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's only a little clip.
That's going everywhere.
You know,
what was in the whole thing?
You know, read the book. But my whole point is like, that whole show when I used to be on Sirius, my whole thing was, listen, you know, we get raunchy because it gets great content.
Right.
And so it wasn't never like, I don't know you outside of here. We didn't hang out outside of here. We didn't spend time together. I didn't have your number. You didn't have my number. I'm okay with going on, doing this on the air and then leaving it there.
Right.
And that's fine. And that's not the only person. And he's the only person that's ever said something like that.
That's true.
And he also said,
keep all the rest in check.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's just never happened before. Like,
right.
What happened? You know, and then Melissa was like, I don't know why he put my name in there. I wasn't there. And then he was like, oh, I made a mistake. Like, she wasn't, you know, but it just didn't happen.